been staged. I should actually probably deploy the landing gear.
Oh, good. Most of my ship got saved that I was working on. All right, 6,000 Delta V. Yeah, this will get us up into space. Initial thrust to weight ratio 2.8. That's what we call power. So let's go to some nice.
Okay. What? Oh, the whole weight system is off because of the lander can being out in the middle of nowhere. It actually thinks that the weight is out there too.
All right, payload check, clear, crew check. Oh no, glad I checked that. Fred Bart is a scientist. I need weird Al Bart's gone missing again. I need to bring up an engineer. Let's bring up Sonwig Kerman. I'll bring him up there. And so do I have to recheck the payload? Okay, payload is good. I don't know how that payload vanished, so I'm like checking it every single time. So all right, we're locked and ready to go. 6,000 Delta V on the launch pad. Hopefully it won't tip over because I didn't use arms.
I'm trying really, really hard to bring my periapsis down so that I can attempt to land this thing, even though it's going to fail miserably because the command pod is out in the middle of nowhere. I have to, I throttle up really fast when it lines up with retrograde and then stop because it immediately starts to pull away from retrograde.
All right.
And just have to do it in bursts.
Throttle up, SAS on. We won't need throttle. Won't be staying up very much longer, because this is gonna pack some punch here. Yeah, so we're gonna bring the throttle down here to like we'll call that like 40%. So if you're watching this stream, I'd like to thank you for watching this stream instead of the Republican national debate, because that's gonna be boring. Instead, watch KSP with us. Watch us, watch the reason why we're not working at NASA. Although,
okay, do you know what the minimum pressure setting on the parachutes does?
No.
Is that like the higher the number, the lower it'll, like the more air pressure it needs to open?
I don't know what like a minimum pressure setting would be on a parachute, because it would...
Well, okay, you know how the parachutes deploy and then they fully deploy?
Yeah.
Well, that's what that is on this.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just don't know whether the lower the number, the higher they fully deploy.
If it's being measured in like atmospheres,
it's measured in
Kerbal units.
It's measured in numbers. It doesn't have a...
I would say the lower the number, the lower the air pressure. And since you're on Duna, you want that to be at a lower pressure.
Right, and I want the altitude as high as possible.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's in something like... what was the number at originally? Was it at like 1? Was it at...
Well, on this one, it's at 0.04.
If that's atmospheres, that might make sense. Because if you're that high up, you'd want, 1 atmosphere is the pressure at sea level. Yeah, this rocket going much better than the last one. In fact, I'm going to cut the engines now because my apoapsis is up to 6,000 feet. But I really am going to need to blast this thing laterally at some point in time. Because my main...
All right. We have achieved deorbiting. I have no idea how this is actually going to go, given the shifted center of mass. We could spin wildly out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my RCS doesn't really seem to be working, even though it says it's working, but it's not working.
I'm trying to keep... I'm trying to increase my thrust, but not have my apoapsis grow here. And I just realized that I don't know where Narnia is. But we'll figure that out once we get into orbit. Alright, that stage is done. And it went off with one hell of an explosion. Hope you got that on camera.
I did, because I am kind of just fast forwarding at the moment.
Yes. So Narnia floats around about 95,000 meters. But I am trying to keep my...
Any idea what altitude Duna's atmosphere starts at?
No.
Me neither. Should probably be something we should know when operating around Duna.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm in like the 70s. My periapsis is at like 12,000.
We're almost there, and
My terrain altitude is like 52. Okay, I think I am in atmosphere now. It took me out of time warp. So the atmosphere isn't very high. It's under 50,000.
okay. All right. So, hey, we are in orbit. Hurrah! And I've only been streaming for 2 hours. Well, I've done other things, but you can get rid of this ugly fairing. And Sagwig can see now out of the window. Looks around. Don't forget, what does the post-it note say? Don't forget something, something, I don't know. All right. So now we actually have to rendezvous.
Yeah, there's a eclipse.
On Duna?
No. You just had an eclipse. The moon was eclipsing the sun from your camera angle. So,
yeah, look at that. That's cool. No. You know what that is? That's my UI bug.
Is it?
Because it's not eclipsed on my screen,
Oh.
but on my. I wonder what's causing that.
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, clearly the aerodynamics are affecting where the capsule.
Random ass spacecraft is back.
Because this whole thing is just kind of like moving around on its own, and it really probably
Here's Crazy
shouldn't be.
Station.
I don't even know where I should be deploying my parachutes here.
All right, so where are we relative to Narnia?
Or what horrible
Narnia
thing is going to happen when I deploy the parachutes.
Yes.
It should be entertaining, at least.
Yes. So Narnia is, of course, on the complete opposite side of the planet.
Ooh. I could explode. The heat shield is not going first. Because it refuses to.
Here's the Crazy Station. Way the heck out there. I'm going to bring these guys back at some point in time. One day. But in the meantime, so what is the altitude that... Let's pull up the rendezvous UI here. Okay, so I am still kind of technically below it, even though just barely. So, oops, surface, target. All right. So I'm moving pretty quickly relative to the target. And is my distance getting bigger or smaller? Intercept angle, relative inclination, altitude. Is that my target's altitude or is that my altitude? That's my altitude. Surface.
I feel like this should be making
that's
sound.
My target's altitude. What?
Like, I'm re-entering and it's silent. There is no sound.
Well, it is a much thinner atmosphere.
I guess. I'm getting, like, flame effects.
Well, that's cool.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Where's
my
yeah, I don't know.
My distance to target really isn't changing. So let's...
Maybe it's just giving flame effects for the sake of giving flame effects, and it's not really actually, like, at risk at all of overheating. Mm-hmm. And maybe the heat shields weren't necessary at all. Because nothing is looking like it's overheating at all. I'm getting awfully close to the ground. I am 7,000. Oh, the heat effects seem to be dying down.
All right, so I have I burnt toward the target to increase my speed here, and that's going to drop my altitude. Or yeah, that's going to that drop my orbit as it should. So that's going to get me below it, which closer to the ground, which means my orbit will speed up, and I will eventually get closer to this craft. And actually, I am starting to get a little bit closer right now, slowly ticking away. Let's just let's do some time warping here.
Yeah, this is going to crash into the surface. Yeah, parachutes destroyed. Traveling too fast.
What?
Okay, so lessons to be learned from that, other than the fact that a weirdly detached command pod probably can't re-enter at all. Super shallow re-entry.
Okay.
Like really shallow. Want to spend absolutely as much time in the atmosphere as possible before hitting the ground. So we have as much
atmosphere.
Well, there is atmosphere, but there's not a lot of atmosphere. So we needed to slow us down as much as possible. The second thing to take away is that we probably will have to do some minor retrograde burns. before we'll be able to deploy the parachutes.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, when they land on Mars, they really don't deploy parachutes all that much.
right. Well, that's why there's like 6 parachutes on
Oh, okay.
on the lander. Right. So that was a good test.
I'm gonna warp on my end of things here. I'm gonna warp to my periapsis here and drop my apoapsis height because that initial burn I made, it also rose me above the craft. So I mean, I'm pretty much on target with it. My inclination is only 0.3 of a degree off. So let's.
Okay, so I don't want to try and dock that other lander yet.
Okay.
Mostly just because I'm probably going to have to restart the server. So I'm probably going to do that off camera. So I think I'm probably going to take a look at the Drace probe, since we haven't really done anything with that since it got there.
Okay.
If I can find wherever the Drace deep space probe is. There it is.
All right, so I dropped my apoapsis down to 83,000 meters. So now I am always below the space station. So when I time warp, I should always lose distance relative to it. Or, decrease my gap.
Right.
And why is it still going up? Why is it still going up? 40, 41. Okay, there we go. For some reason, it went up briefly. I don't know why. Oh crap!
What?
I didn't put a solar panel on this thing. God damn it!
Did you run out of electricity?
This electric charge is running out.
Whoops.
Yeah. I love wasted recording sessions. Complete and entirely wasted recording sessions.
Is it though? I mean, you've only been working on this one for like the second half of the recording session.
True.
Okay. Well,
at least this way I can launch much closer to the station.
Yeah.
My last rendezvous went very, very well.
Well, the Drace probe is kind of glitched out for me, unfortunately. I don't really know what's up with that, so that might have to wait until after I fix my Kerbal as well. It might work for you, I don't know. All right, so I think we need to do some cleanup around here. What is this untitled spacecraft?
If you have to ask, it can be thrown out.
Probably. I'm going to board it and find out.
All right. Let's slap some batteries on here too. Why not?
The untitled spacecraft is also a glitched out ship. Interesting.
Hi, welcome to Kerbal Space Program. All right.
It's a glitched out ship without parachutes. That's really unfortunate. Sorry, Podbur.
Oh, you know what I should do? Before I hit the launch button, I should have checked my A to make sure I had an engineer. Because it probably reset my Kerbal. No, Sogwid is still there. Let's check. So, okay, our inventory is still there. All right. So we're ready to go there. We won't even start throttle 100% up. We'll start throttle at 50% because I know this thing's going to punch stuff here. So stations. So we're going to target Narnia here.
I think that is useless. Let's get rid of that.